It has been 180 days since I started my Miracle Morning Challenge. Now, a lot has changed over that period of time, so let's see where I'm at. Hi. No, that's not how I start things. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and today I'm going to be going through my progress that I have made over the past 6 months from undertaking the Miracle Morning Challenge. On the 20th of June 2021, I released a video introducing the concept of the Miracle Morning based on the book right here written by Elrod. I talked about what the Miracle Morning aims to achieve, how it works, I gave some ideas on what you could potentially put into your own, and then I talked about how I plan to structure my own Miracle Morning. As a quick recap, the consensus of the challenge is to wake up 1 hour earlier than you normally would on any given day to perform certain activities with the idea of progressing and improving just that little bit every single day. The activities that I perform as part of my own Miracle Morning have not changed all that much since my last update, but things about them have definitely changed. So just as a quick recap as well, I'm still sitting in silence for 10 minutes every single day without distractions, and I allow myself to stretch during that period of time if I want to. I am reading for 15 minutes every single day. I am practicing Italian for 15 minutes every single day, and I am writing for 20 of those minutes every single day, totaling 60 minutes. So first up is confession time. Pretty much the day after my 90-day update, which was 3 months ago, I decided to myself, I kind of made it like a pact with myself that I would not force myself to get up 1 hour earlier than I normally would every single day if I did not want to. The intention was to do this over the 90 days from 90 to 180 days being this video, with the intended purpose of seeing how I felt at the end of it. I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment as well. The key component out of this adjustment was that I still needed to perform all of the activities that I had allocated as part of my Miracle Morning throughout the day. The main reason for doing this was that I had committed to doing those activities and still planned to do every single one of them. I just wanted to slot them into different periods throughout the day if it was suitable, depending on what I was doing on that given day. This has been kind of an adjustment because of my training for the triathlon that I'm going to be competing in early next year, being 2022 in March. Basically, it's coming up quick, but the main reason is that training started to take over those morning slots, and I just wanted to make sure that I still had enough time and gave myself enough opportunity to do the other things on my to-do list, being reading, writing, practicing Italian, whatever was part of that Miracle Morning. I still wanted to slot them in every single day, and it really made me quite happy being able to come to this determination that I was still wanting to do all of these activities, and that was because I've really been enjoying them. The fact that it was kind of like a light bulb switching on in my head, I really found that I was kind of craving to practice Italian for 15 minutes every single day. I've been reading every day. I have not missed a single day. I've stuck to reading 20 pages minimum per day, whether I get it done in that 15 minutes and have to tack on some extra time at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. I have stuck to that every day of 2021 and resulted in me reading 30 books. Look out for the video coming out where I talk a bit more in depth about that in the near future. My point overall being though is that I'm really glad that starting this project or challenge allowed me to get into the habit of doing these activities, and then I really grew to love doing them. I've actually made so much progress with each of them as well, and I'm going to go into a bit more depth talking about them in a moment. I just really wanted to kick off the video today to say that, look, I've kind of changed how it's working, but I'm still doing it and I'm still loving that I'm doing it. The other aspect of this is that I now have perspective. I've done this for literally 6 months straight. Every single day I've stuck to all of these things, whether I've done them as part of the Miracle Morning like I did for the first 3 months, first thing in the morning, to now where I'm kind of breaking it up during the day. And what I found was doing them and forcing myself to do them in the morning started to become a bit more like a chore versus something I really wanted to do at that period of time. Now I kind of get to slot them in to kind of relax and take a breath, especially having progressed so far into them using Italian as the example. It's a lot easier for me to practice without it being stressful or overwhelming now that I have a much better understanding of the language, the words that I'm using. You might get a taste of that in a moment as well as we progress through this video. So what I'm pretty much going to do now is recap the progress I've made on each of these activities, how I feel about them, and what I've found over that period of time doing them at different times of the day. Sitting in silence is something that I still highly rate doing. I really love this activity. I do this now at a time that I need just a break, that I need 10 minutes out of my day to just take a breath. I might be stressed with something at work that I'm working on. I might be stressed out after an exercise that I've just done and my body is just kind of hurting and I just need to take a minute to sit down and have a timeout. Slotting this into one of those moments has definitely helped me ground myself. It's definitely helped me catch my breath at a time where I might be feeling a little bit uneasy. I cannot recommend this enough to people who just don't let themselves take a break during their days. And realistically, stretching has helped with my training in little ways because I feel a lot more limber when I'm going for a run or going for a ride. It's something that you take for granted, but when you do it enough every single day, it really does compound in effect. To be completely honest, affirmations disappeared completely from my miracle morning, and I thought that sitting in silence for 10 minutes was next up because I still thought that it was relatively time wasting, but surprise, surprise, I'm keeping this in my miracle morning. I'm going to go 365 days with this bad boy because I truly believe that it is something that I need to do every single day to just kind of feel at ease. There's no more to that. It's a pretty simple exercise, but it's something that being 180 days into doing it, it's been excellent. Cannot recommend it enough. Next up is learning Italian. Now, I started a little bit earlier than the miracle morning, but during the miracle morning, really committed to doing it every single day for 15 minutes at a minimum. At the time of recording this video, I'm 250 days in, and I figured it is probably time to show some progress. So here we go. Ciao, penso che imparare l'italiano sia di gran lunga la mia attività preferita della mia mattinata miracolosa, which translates to hi. I think learning Italian is definitely by far my favorite activity of my miracle morning. In less than 1 year, I have gone from someone who barely understands simple words of this language to being able to have a short conversation with someone who is fluent in the language. That is not a long period of time whatsoever to learn an entirely new language. I can also understand the language almost fluently. This has by far been one of the easiest things to incorporate into my miracle morning because every day the language is just getting easier and easier to learn, whether it be sentences, difficult words, the pronunciation, understanding phrases, or using punctuation because I probably spell better in Italian than I do in English. I highly recommend to anyone who's looking at learning another language to practice in a similar fashion to how I'm practicing this language. It really does go a long way when you start to see the compounding effect over time. Repetition and consistency is only going to make this process get easier as I continue on in time. Adding it to my miracle morning only added to the ability to be even more consistent because I basically started off forcing myself to practice every single day during this time slot. Whereas now I'm just doing it every single day because I want to and I really enjoy the time that I get to put into learning this language. Talking about consistency, moving on to reading now, which has been by far my biggest achievement in terms of what I've gained from doing my miracle morning. The best thing by far that I decided to do in 2021 was to pick up a book and force is the wrong word, decide to read a minimum of 20 pages every single day of the year. I'm never going to claim that I am some speed reader or I'm some excellent reader. I just think that reading is something that people should do at their own pace and something that they should incorporate into their day every single day. All I did was commit to reading a minimum of 20 pages every single day of the year. There was no more to that. All I needed to do to complete this challenge, to do what I had set out to achieve, was to just read, 20 pages out of whatever book I was reading, whether it be fiction or non-fiction. Feel free to check out the recap video I made talking about the different books that I read throughout the year, why I read them, what I gained from them, and how much they kind of added to my day-to-day life, the ones I liked, what I didn't like, all of it's in there. I think it's a pretty comprehensive video and it gives a better snapshot of what I read throughout the year, why I read what I read. Go check it out if you're interested. The link is down in the description below. And while you're down there, do me a massive favor and hit that like and subscribe button because I gotta ask, it really goes a long way for the channel. I really appreciate the support. It realistically only takes you about 2 seconds to do anyway. So thank you so much if you went ahead and did that for me. I really do appreciate it. And finally, let's talk about writing. The book that I endeavored and set out to write is about 30,000 words in, which is pretty good. I'm very happy with the progress that I've made on that book itself. Now it's starting to take form in the way I intended it to take form. I'm kind of just rambling now, but realistically, I've written 30,000 words and over the past 90 days, I haven't necessarily been doing a hell of a lot of writing. I've done done bits and pieces, but I've got a lot of the bulkier words out of the way, and now I'm fine tuning things before I go on another writing spree and do the exact same thing again. Basically, it's gonna become 60,000 words in the near future. But over the past 90 days, what I've really focused on doing is building out the structure where I want certain things to be. I'm gonna be including images in the book. I'm gonna be including tables and things like that, because there's gonna be aspects of money and finance in it as well. And realistically for me, putting this together has been quite a journey. There's a lot more that goes into it than just putting words on a page, and structuring it in a way that's easy to follow, especially when you start getting a lot of words on paper, it starts to become quite cluttered. And if it's not structured in a clever way with proper headings and things like that, it just gets out of hand. So over the past 90 days, I've really been refining that so that when I go on to add a lot more words, I'm able to do that without having to worry about losing sections, figuring out where things are, basically using that time frame in the morning, or if I've slotted it in somewhere else during the day, to make sure that I'm covering everything I need to in a way that basically is painting a picture for whoever's going to read this book in the future, if I ever even choose to release it. I'm kind of just doing it for myself at the moment. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. This is just really another testament to what consistency can do to help achieve a goal that is potentially going to be time consuming to achieve. I've chipped away at it for a long time now, and so far I'm happy with what I've put on paper. And that really kind of shows what 180 days of consistently working at these different activities has kind of given me. It's really shown development over the past 6 months, and I'm really glad I'm at this point and really looking forward to that next milestone as well. I guess the big thing for me mentally is realistically, I'm only using 1 hour out of my 24 each day, which is a crazy feeling to think that I'm doing so much in just such a short period of time. Even if I'm breaking it up into different segments throughout the day, it's been really great. I just really am excited, and I'm really glad that I get to reflect on the progress that I've made coming out of it. Like when I started, in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a challenge. I'm gonna have to do this every day. I'm gonna have to commit time. I'm gonna have to get out of bed when I don't want to. It was winter when I started. And now looking back, I'm really just like, I haven't done my reading today. I'm literally gonna go do that in 5 minutes when I finish recording this video. At the moment, I'm reading The Witcher, and it's a fiction book. It doesn't have to be non-fiction, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's such a good book. It's so interesting. I really enjoyed the show, and I'm reading the books. So kind of stay tuned for next year's update when I finish the entire box set. I guess ultimately the way to conclude today's video is that the Miracle Morning gave me structure when I first started doing it as it was intended to be performed. It really gave me the path and the steps that I needed to take, held me accountable because of the way I kind of got it into my head that I needed to do this every morning. And the outcome from that is now I'm reaping the rewards, doing what I want in terms of the activities when I want to do them, as long as I do them every single day. And I'm disciplined enough and I enjoy doing them enough that I want to do them. So I'm doing them every single day. Like, I'm just trying to emphasize, and I think I'm doing a good job of it because I'm just telling a story here. I'm kind of repeating myself as well. But the main point is that very beginning was tough because it was different. It was kind of going against the grain. It was forcing me into doing something at times where I might not necessarily have wanted to do it. Who wants to get up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning? But overall, now coming out of it, it was well worth it. And I think that's the sentence I want to end today's video on. It was well worth it. So with that being said, the next milestone is going to be the 365 day mark, which will come around quicker than you might think. So definitely hit that like and subscribe button down below, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss that video when I do eventually release it. And that's all I've really got to show you today. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good week. I hope I've given you some motivation to potentially give this challenge a go yourself. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, have a good day, have a good week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.